Regarded as one of the finest freelance drivers for over a decade or more, if not the finest freelance driver, Nathan Jack now has his sights firmly entrenched on resurrecting his training career, which he has been doing successfully for the past 2 or 3 seasons. The third generation of the Jack family. I caught up with Nathan to discuss the family's outstanding contribution to the harness racing industry. Nathan, good to catch up with you straight off the track after driving Max Delight, your old mate, deadheading with the stablemate Malcolm's Rhythm behind Pete Setso for fourth. He just keeps putting in, week out.
Yeah, he's a great old horse. To win $1 million is just great, and to be going as good as he is at that age is just a real credit to the horse and trainer.
And Nathan, it would appear wherever Max goes, you go.
Yeah, well, the owner's been great to me. He always looks after me, and I enjoy driving him, and I enjoy driving for Dave. So I don't mind making the trick up if it's possible.
As I mentioned in the introduction, Nathan, third generation, all commenced with your grandfather Robbie. What an outstanding contribution to harness racing. A life member of Wagga, the president of Wagga, and an outstanding trainer driver with numerous titles in that Wagga region for many, many years.
Yeah, that's right. It's a bit before my time, but I still obviously have great memories of him, but don't really remember him driving that much. Just a lot of people talk about him as a legend, and it's always great. It makes you very proud.
And of course, the genes certainly flowed on to his sons, Russell and David.
Yeah, that's right. Dad and Uncle Dave both quite successful and done a good job with sort of limited team.
And of course, speaking of Russell and David and yourself now, the success you've enjoyed at Bathurst during the Bathurst Gold Coast Carnival and 2021 named as honorees, what a great recognition of the contribution.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a carnival that Dad and Pop targeted early on. I think 92, She's a Low Bell might have been their first one. And it's just went on from there, and then they won it a few times, and then Uncle David's won it, and I've been lucky enough to win it. So yeah, it's been a good carnival to us all, that's for sure, and it's a credit to Bathurst. They do a great job, and it's a lucrative carnival, and it attracts a lot of good horses and a lot of good trainers.
One of the finest wins for the Jack family was 1995, Yeronga Songbird. Then we had the Gold Trout Albert Tyrrell chart topper. Certainly you would remember that one very well in 2023.
Yeah, that's right. I remember all them quite well, actually. Just Hope, she was back there somewhere too. But, they've all been good horses and gone on to do quite good jobs. And, you never forget those ones, that's for sure.
And it comes as no coincidence, the success the Jack family have had with young horses.
Yeah, that's right. We've always sort of just bred our own and started off like that and got them going up and going early. And now we've been more fortunate enough that we can go to the sales and buy them, and it makes it a lot easier, that's for sure.
That's where you're concentrating your efforts on these days with the young horses?
Yeah, that's right. We try and focus on the sales, and got a long-time client, Terry Cluse. He's been really good to myself and to the family as well. He's a great supporter of the yearling sales and buys quality horses, and he has to get number one priority.
Mentioning great owners, to be a successful stable you need a loyal owner, and Terry certainly has been to, as you mentioned, and put plenty of money into it, and it's good to see him enjoy the success.
Yeah, that's right. They're from Adelaide and they love it. They never go to the races very often, but they make an effort on the big nights. They always like coming to Menangle, actually. It's a carnival that's been good to them. They enjoy it and they love it, and they focus on the young ones, and that's where we try and focus on too, on the young ones, try and get as many going early as we can and try and get our money back that way.
Nathan, a wonderful career so far, well over 2,200 winners, well over 30 Group 1 wins. You decided to take a break from training. What was that cause for?
Oh, it was just hard, the training, and it was limited stock, and then on come Terry Cluse, and it just made it a lot easier, and it was also hard to be training and be freelance driving as well. It was just too much to juggle, so sort of took a step back from going to Mildura and places like that, pick and choose where I go a little bit now, and focus more on the training.
The fact you're in great demand, particularly from the likes of Anton Galino, Tony Peacock going a little bit further back, of course, Emma Stewart and Clayton Tonkin, and today we see the running of the Rising Sun, and a couple of years ago you were successful with Ladies in Red.
Yeah, happened to be she won tonight as well. She's a great mare, and it's a great race, and it was a real privilege to get the call up to drive her that day, so very grateful of that.
Yeah, she's been a horse that you've also had a lot of success with, Mac Dan.
Yeah, that's right. He's been a great horse too, and another great supporter, Denny Zav, great bloke, and it makes it easier when you get the drives on them sort of horses, that's for sure.
Of course, Anton Galino, just a master trainer of the trotter. I'm ready, Jet, one horse, but Call Me the Breeze. We haven't seen her since Miracle Mile night. What's the progress with those two trotters?
Yeah, I think they're both back in and not that far off a trial. I think by all reports he's very happy with both of them, I think. But yeah, I don't ask too many questions. I just get lucky enough to get told when they're in and where to go, and forever grateful for him and Pat and Anton. He's a great trainer, and not only is he a great trainer, he's a great bloke as well, and that makes driving for him so much more easier.
Must make you, as you said, it must make the driving a lot easier when you're driving for such astute trainers, high-class trainers on a regular basis.
Yeah, for sure. Like we don't really go over the race too much. He might say he's happy or he's not that happy, and we don't really talk instructions much. And you know, if I get one wrong, I'll come back and say I got it wrong, and we don't dwell on it. We just move on, and I think that's what makes it so easy. We work in together really well, and to be successful, I think you've got to do that if you want a successful partnership.
Association with David Aiken, how did that come about?
I was a kid actually. He gave me my first drive in town, a horse called JTR. I used to drive him every week. He was my first Metro drive, and I've just been lucky enough to drive for him for a long time, and good horses too, like a horse like Carl's Roo, Jacket Clive, just to name a couple of them off the top of my head. But Smudge Bromack was another one that done a great job. Wartime Sweetheart, like there was just a lot of free-for-all horses that were good horses, and yeah, he just keeps getting them. He's a great trainer, and like I said, it makes it easier when you get on quality horses for quality trainers.
I was talking to David on Tour Day, and he was mentioning the fact that apart from Gavin Lang, you're such an astute form student that he just has complete faith in your ability to read races, read your opposition drivers. He said he hasn't come across anyone as good as you apart from Gavin, and the only difference would be Gavin wouldn't say anything, but you at least share it with him.
Yeah, well, I don't want to be spoke about in the same breath as him, because Gavin's a genius, and he was someone that everyone was in awe of and idolised him. And you know, if Gavin ever shook his head at you or anything, you knew just to give him a wide berth for a few days, and you just hope that he spoke to you next time he seen you, because he was a terrifying person, but he was just someone that you respected so much. So for Ake to say that makes me really proud. But I do a lot of work studying the form, and I watch a lot of races, so you don't have to study it that much when you watch so many races, and you can know them. Makes studying it easy anyway, because you can just quickly have a browse through and you know what they do and that, so that makes it a lot easier. But that probably comes down to having a little bit of spare time and good stuff at home, I guess, that allow that to happen. Well, Nathan,
as a young fella coming through the ranks when you started out, who was your idol and hero?
Yeah, Gavin Lang. Like he was everyone's idol. I think he was just a genius. Like I'll never forget at Geelong one day, he was looking to go to the fence and I was behind him, and I went there because I thought if he's thinking about it, it's good enough for me. And I beat him home, and I walked out so proud that I beat him home. Like just when you're a kid, like you just idolised him, and he was great. He never said much, but when he said something, it was worth listening to.
Well, to a man, everyone I've spoken to from Victoria, and even New South Wales, but all the Victorians that worked around Gavin on a regular basis, day in, day out, and drove against him, he was always their idol.
Yeah, for sure. You know, he was well respected, and that respect was earned, I'm sure, and he gave it back too if you earned it, and he would always give you room and move out of the way and that, but in a big race you couldn't move him. He was like moving a rock, and he used to say the same about AD Turnbull. So you know, like them two, they were greats, you know, so I used to think, it can't be that hard to move, and then in a big race I tried to move Gavin one day, and I thought to myself, yeah, I know what he's talking about, but that's what made him so great.
It's funny you bring up Tony Turnbull. I was talking to Paul Fitzpatrick and John McCarthy prior to the meeting starting, and we're doing a bit of reminiscing, and AD's name came up as one of the toughest men they've ever come across to drive against.
Yeah, I sort of only got to meet him late in his life, but he never really said much, but he was sort of at the end by the time I got to know him, but he was always great to listen to, and you know, you had to be careful what you said about him, because he was he had such well manners, and he wouldn't speak out of school or anything like that, but he was good, and I'll never forget Cindy spoke at his funeral, and he spoke about being in the steward's room or something, and she said, you lied. And he said, it's the only place you're allowed to tell lies in there. So I'll never forget that. But they were just Gavin and AD, and they're just greats.
Yeah, certainly the greats. And we're here honouring another great, Vic Frost. And we just had the running of the Vic Frost Free for All. And certainly no one better than Vic Frost.
No, that's right. Like he was sort of, I remember Westburn Grant and all them. He was a bit before my time as well, but watched a lot of videos of him and remember the horse quite well. And Vic's an icon as well.
Nathan, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.